Welcome back, everybody. We are going to start off on our Week 4 preview and our Week 4 predictions. So we're going to try and do this every week. Again, as I didn't do it last week for Week 3. That's because school schedules really messed up this schedule. But I'm going to plan on doing it every week. Hopefully that'll stay the way it is. But without further ado, let's do it. The Minnesota Vikings at the Los Angeles Rams. This is a very interesting game, and to me it's the hardest one to pick because I'll just put it out this way. The Vikings are 22nd in points per game, and the Rams are 3rd. Points against, the Rams are 1st with one shutout. That was against the Arizona Cardinals, who suck. And the Vikings have had points up against them, and they lost to the Bills last week. If there's one underlier here, it's the fact that the Rams, sacks-wise, are 29th in the league. The Vikings, sack-wise, are 4th. Interceptions are about even, and the rush yards are not that great for the Vikings, 31st. That being said, here's where I'm going to get at. The Vikings got humiliated at home against the Bills. They have been preparing for the Rams all week. They were done earlier than the Rams. I will say this. I think the Vikings win this game. And the reason why I think the Vikings win this game is because they're going to try and redeem themselves after last week's debacle against Buffalo. I picked the Minnesota Vikings to win tonight over the Los Angeles Rams. Next game, Cincinnati Bengals at the Atlanta Rams, or versus the Atlanta Rams. Atlanta Rams. Atlanta Falcons. My God. My brain's all over the place. Atlanta Falcons. This is an interesting game because you have two quarterbacks that are kind of somewhat doing okay, kind of struggling a bit. You got Joe Mixon will be out for this game. Devonta Freeman's out for this game. A.J. Green, Julio Jones. We'll see who's the better player. The defenses, in my opinion, are the keys to this game. The Bengals' defense is healthy. They're probably going to get Preston Brown back this week. Vontaze comes back next week. The Falcons, on the other hand, have lost Deion Jones, Ricardo Allen, and Keanu Neal. They will not be in this game. Those are huge pieces in this backfield of that defense. John Ross needs to have a huge game. That front has been okay. They're 27th in sacks, the Atlanta Falcons. Bengals are 17th in sacks and 9th in interceptions. Time of possession, they're pretty even. Rush yards per game, pretty even. Pass yards per game. The Falcons are 10th, Bengals are 14th. Yards per game, 10th for the Falcons, 18th for the Bengals. Points against, Bengals are 20th. Falcons are 25th. They gave up a lot of points last week to Drew Brees. Points per game, 9th. Points per game for the Bengals is 6th. I'm going to pick the Bengals to win this game. And the reason for it is they lost to the Falcons. They lost to the Panthers. The Falcons have lost a lot of defensive pieces this year. And offensively, I don't know what they can do against a healthy Bengals defense. Julio Jones is the big question mark. Calvin Ridley, we'll see. Mohamed Sanu, prove it to me. But the Bengals need to be able to throw the ball on a defense that only has corners. The linebackers are going to struggle against Tyler Eifert and in the middle of the field with Boyd. The running game, we'll see what happens with Giovanni Bernard, but I'm going to hold hope and pick the Bengals to win this game. Next game. This is my game of the week, by the way. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Chicago Bears. And I'm going to pick the Bears to win this game, and I'll tell you why. The Bears, this is a huge implication game for both teams. If the Bears win, they're 3-1 and have a lock and have a foothold on this division. Think about where they're at. They're 2-1. They're already ahead in the division. The Packers are 1-1. The Vikings are 1-1. The Vikings need to win tonight in order to keep this close with the Bears. If the Bears beat the Bucs in Chicago, they're going to probably win this division at some point. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But I'm going to pick I'm going to pick the Bears to win this game. Defensively, they're going to own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next game. Detroit Lions versus the Dallas Cowboys. the 900-yard passer in Matthew Stafford and the 500-yard passer in Dak Prescott. I'm picking the Detroit Lions to win this game. Defensively, I think Darius Slay is going to be a menace for Prescott, and I think it's going to be one of those games he can't overcome. I'm going to pick the Detroit Lions to win this game because the Cowboys are the second worst in points per game, and I think the Cowboys, yes, they're going to put pressure on Detroit, on Matthew Stafford, but Detroit's offensive line is probably the best offensive line the Cowboys have faced this year. And not to mention, the weapons on Detroit are deadly. Tate and Jones are going to be a problem. I'm picking Detroit to win this game. Buffalo versus Green Bay. I'm just going to pick Green Bay because I think Aaron Rodgers is better than the entire Buffalo Bills team. That's all I'm going to go there. Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tennessee Titans. I'm picking the Eagles in Tennessee. Here's the thing. Carson Wentz is going to be a stud. We know that. He's going to get his weapons back. Alshon Jeffrey comes back this week. We'll see what happens with Jay Ajayi. I think he'll be back this week. But I think the Eagles win this game dominantly, and defensively they will have a show. Houston Texans versus the Indianapolis Colts. With what I've seen from the Houston Texans, I think Andrew Luck wins this game by himself. I'm going to pick the Colts. The Colts are winning this game. The 3-0 Miami Dolphins versus the 1-2 New England Patriots. I think this is where the Patriots get back on the right track. I think they will beat the Miami Dolphins at home. They're playing in New England. I'm going to pick the Patriots to win that game. Next game, the New York Jets versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Do I really have to make an argument for this? I think the Jaguars defense will own Sam Darnold, and I think there will be a huge sack game for the Jacksonville defense. The offensive line for the Jets is not good whatsoever. I'm going to pick the Jacksonville Jaguars and Blake Bortles to win this game. Now, this one's rough. Cleveland Browns versus the Oakland Raiders. I'm picking the Oakland Raiders to win this game, their first game of the year. Here's why. I don't think Cleveland can come back on John Gruden and the Raiders. And if the Raiders get off to a hot start with Jordy Nelson, Amari Cooper, Marshawn Lynch, and they get off to a huge, huge start, you're looking at a situation where they will win. They will win this game. They're 7th in yards per game, 7th in pass yards per game, 6th in pass yards per game, 16th in rush yards per game. The Browns are only better in rush yards per game. Points per game, the Browns are better. Points against, the Browns are also better. But here's where it gets. The Browns are better in a majority of the categories. But here's the problem. The Raiders are going to be desperate, and they're going to get their first win, and I think the Browns are going to sit in Oakland and struggle. All game long, Baker Mayfield with his first actual start, he's going to struggle. Seattle Seahawks versus the Arizona Cardinals. This is always one of those rough divisional games where the Cardinals can beat up on the Hawks, but I think the Seahawks will win this game. And the reason why I think the Seahawks will win this game is because, yes, offensively, that offensive line's garbage, but they have the weapons to beat the Cardinals, and I think it'll be a good game for the Hawks there to go 2-2. New Orleans Saints versus the New York Giants. Do I really have to make this pick? It'll be the New Orleans Saints by a landslide. Drew Brees will throw all over the Giants' defense. San Francisco 49ers versus Los Angeles Chargers. I'm just going to go with the Chargers. Niners don't have Jimmy G. It's a huge problem for them, and I think the Chargers' defense is better than they have been. And Derwin James, watch him, number 33 on the back end of that defense for the Chargers. Absolute monster. Sunday Night Football, we have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another rough game. I would not be surprised if the Baltimore Ravens win it, but I'm going to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers simply because they're at home. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. And the last game of the week, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Denver Broncos in Mile High. I got to go with Mahomes. He will light up Denver. He will be throwing that ball all over the field. Now, the altitude's the worry here. If the ball goes higher than normal, I think he will throw his first pick in this game. I guarantee it. He's 13-0 touchdown to interception ratio. He will throw a couple picks in this game because he'll overthrow somebody. He just will. But the Chiefs will win this game based off of the special teams. And Tyreek Hill will have 2 returns for touchdowns. So that's it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed what you heard today, even if you may have disagreed with the majority of it. That's okay. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you want more content. And next week, we're going to see what happens. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong about this week, I'm wrong. Take account of my picks, because you guys may have different picks and you may disagree with me. Again, the one I'm worried about most is my Bengals pick, because yes, I'm a fan. Yes, I have hope, but the Falcons defense gave up a ton of points against the Saints. And I think the Bengals have that firepower to be good. Now, will they? Who knows? But anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you guys have a great week. Enjoy football. Enjoy it. Enjoy your teams. Hopefully they win this week. Unless you're a Steeler or a Cowboy fan, hopefully they'll both lose this week, because they both suck. And I will see you in the next one.